up, nerds? I'm Wes, Neverboard Gaming, hanging out with Justin from Fireside Games. Justin, how are you doing today?
I am very good. It's been an excellent show.
Fantastic. So we're looking at Remnants today. What can you tell me about it?
So, Remnants is a post-apocalyptic survival game. The idea is the world ended a little while ago, and you're dealing with the leftovers, or remnants as we call it. You being each player, has a little board in front of you that's your compound, and this is where you're going to keep your loot and your stuff like that. Also, you have survivors that you're going to send out to go do things. So there's a little bit of a worker placement, then there's also a real-time resource gathering, and then there's a light engine building mechanic, and then, of course, to throw one more thing in, some card combat kind of deal.
Nice. There's a good bit going on in this.
Right. For us, it's definitely a little different. If you're used to us, we usually are a little more streamlined and clean. This is still clean, but we've got a lot going on here. I'm very pleased with how we added complexity without adding complication. So, anyway, so the way it works is first thing on your turn, you're going to send your people out to go get resources. What that means is the people you send out onto the sandy part of the board are going to hunt, or battle rather, they're going to race for these resources. This is the remnants of the civilization. We have metal, rope, plastic, cloth, and wood, and you're going to look over here and see that that's what the cards cost. That's the economy of the game, or these little bits you're going to get out there. So these you're going to bring back to spend later. You can also send people out, not just to the sandy part, but to the edge of the board. It's not just decorative, it actually matters. The ruined city is where you go looting. Looting is how you move the cubes on your board. So you've got medicine, screwdriver, and scrap that you get by looting the city. You only get these resources from sending people here. So players decide how they want to split it up. Maybe I'll send all 4 of my guys here. Maybe I'll do 1 and 1 kind of deal, and you just see what happens. Every compound is essentially the same, except that they have a different starting amount of survivors. Sanctuary doesn't have anyone special, but they have 6 total regular generic survivors. Everybody else has 5, but one of them is a specialist. The specialists do different things. I have a guy called the Hauler. Normally, survivors only bring back 1 resource. I can bring back 2 with him. The guy over there has one called the Scrounger. We're going to be rolling our dice to try and get 3 of a kind. He can hit on 2 of a kind.
Oh.
And the guy you have is this loot specialist called a Rummager. If you send him looting, you're going to get extra loot points. So this brings us to how our dice work. So if you look close at these awesome dice we have, not only do they have cool pictures of the actual icons on it, they have dots. The dots are used for different things than the resources are. You're rolling the dice one of 2 ways, but it's the same dice. So we can play around a little bit there. Once everyone has committed their people, so let's say you send a few people out here too. In fact, you would probably send most of these and then your looter. But the way it's going to work is, now that we've sent our people out, we have to flip over a Badlands card. A Badlands card is what happens when you go out there and, something terrible happened to us, as most Badlands cards are. In this case, one of our looters has been injured by carnivorous plants. So we flip over one of our people to show injured. That's it. They've been wounded. Now, and
He's looting here.
Yes. Exactly. So your guy is wounded. He still works. You can bring back loot, but he doesn't have a special ability anymore because he was your specialist. So people get healed with medicine. You can see how this is all starting to connect together here. So we've done the board Badlands. We know what's happening. Now we would go ahead and do our real-time resource race. And the way that works is kind of like our game Bears, if you ever played. You get your 4 dice. You roll them at the same time as fast as you can. You can re-roll any way you want. You can bank a dice, lock a dice, keep going. When you get 3 of a kind, like I just did here, you call out what you're getting. Wood. You grab it, put it on one of your people because they're going to physically bring it back at the end of the round. Okay. Then you scoop up all the dice you got and you keep going.
I got metal.
Yep, there you go. Boom, he's got metal. When you get something, you do have to re-roll all 4, but until then, you can mix and match however you want. Oh, and I forgot the bonus token should be out. My bad. And really, the number of resources changes on the number of players. They're numbered spaces for ease of how many players are in the game. So in a 2-player game, we would be playing with a much smaller board of resources like that. Also, bonus tokens are out here, and that's kind of like the musical chairs part of the game. There's always 1 less than the number of players. It's also how the round ends. So you and I keep going. I'm going to grab some wood, let's say. I roll and I get some cloth, maybe. When I'm ready, I'm going to try and get 3 stars. When I roll 3 stars, I take a bonus token. When the last bonus token is taken, the round's over. Even if not everybody has resources, it's done. That's it. End of the round. You put your bonus token on your board, you bring your people back, and you're going to be buying resources with it. Looting is done a little bit different. Looting is how many people did you send? That's how many dice you get to roll. I sent 2 people, I rolled 2 dice.
Okay.
I add up all the dots. Oh wow, I had a sweet roll, I got 5. I would now be able to move my cubes 5 spaces up.
And just however you want?
Exactly. Maybe I want a bunch of medicine, maybe I want screwdrivers. And the short of it is, medicine is used to heal injured people. Screwdrivers are used to buy extra dots on the dice. You could use them to get more loot, which I could then spend for like more medicine or more scrap, which we'll get to in a second. Or I could use them for the fight that's coming, because we got to fight a bad guy, and the dots are how we're going to do damage to the bad guys. So screwdrivers are really good for stabbing people in the face, as everyone knows. So the last one is loot. I'm sorry, scrap. Scrap is the bottom one. Scrap's my favorite. Every time I spend 2 units of scrap, it counts as a wild resource. So if I'm trying to buy something and I didn't get any wood, we'll say, I can spend 2 scrap and it will count as the wood.
Okay.
So these are all good. You really want all of them. And this is one of those games where you're never going to get everything you want. You're always going to be starving for something. Once everyone comes back with their, let's say, our loot, and I got some medicine maybe, and you got your resources, now we have the buy phase. And this is not done real time. This is turn order. Everybody takes their turn. You pick a card. You can buy from any of the 3 rows. In general, higher up is better. There's 3 types of cards: weapons that are going to help you fight the bad guys, defenses that also help you fight the bad guys, and then special cards that break all sorts of rules. And all you have to do is just have the resources to buy the thing. So the spool down here costs wood, metal, and then the asterisk just means anything. Just costs a 3rd resource. So let's say I brought back wood and I didn't get any metal, but I do have my wild bonus token that I got that counts as anything. I'll count that as my metal. And I'm sitting on rope. I'll use that as my mystery. I got spool. The spool special card is going to generate 1 rope every turn. So going forward for the rest of the game, I have an extra rope. So I don't have to worry about rope as much out there. Other things you're going to want to do are get the weapons and the defenses, like I said. The weapons cards, every fist on a weapons card is 1 roll of 1 die when you're fighting a bad guy. Now, the dice only have 1, 2, and 3 on them, so you're probably going to want multiple fists to be able to do that. Some of them have special deals, like I can dump this one and get 2 extra dots if I want to, but I probably want to keep the card. Other thing you're going to look at are defensive cards. The way these work are they have shield symbols on them. Every shield is a -1 to his health without even having to fight him, and his health is that big 4 in the top corner. So if I bought this wood wall, which is pretty expensive, I'd knock him down to 1, which means all I got to do is probably roll 1 die, and beat him. Roll rice, that won't help anybody. So you can build up your compound in a combination of like defenses and attack. For that, you also want to get these special cards that boost your game like that, because what's going to happen is our little track moves every round. Every time it's on a red space, we got to fight a bad guy. Oh, I should back up for a second and say, when someone buys something, we replace it, and we're going to go around until basically everyone's done shopping. So you get one purchase per round. You can, like I said, buy from anything. There's all sorts of cool cards like generate extra resources.
Can you buy multiple things at the same time, or
just one?
Everyone gets a chance to buy 1 card?
Yes. So I'm going to buy something, and then the new one's going to replace it, which means everyone is always going to have the first buy on something. You're going to be the first person who can buy. It may not be anything you want, but it's going to be something. So what's going to happen is every time we hit one of these red spaces, we're going to have a fight phase after a build phase. So we get the full getting parts and spending stuff. Then we got to fight the bad guys. The bad guys have a bunch of information on them. I'll point it at us versus the internet. So 4 health for the biker bandits. They're a level 1 bad guy, so they're worth 1 VP. They have a special thing, meaning if you roll the 3-dot result when you're fighting them, you got to re-roll it 1 time. It sucks, yeah. If we beat them, we get scrap. That's the guy down here, extra loot. But if we lose, we're going to take 3 injuries. So these guys are kind of tough, and they're the first level 1 guys we're fighting in the game. So, and the way it works is every one of us is going to fight them individually as if they're attacking us on their own.
Okay.
So I got to fight them by myself. You got to fight them. We don't share points.
There's no co-op aspect.
No, there isn't. There's not a lot of competition in that I can't attack you guys, but I can take the stuff you want off the board first and screw you over that way, or buy the thing you want. So anyway, so when it's time to fight, you add up your shields and your weapons. So let's say I had bought a different shield card. There you go. That's going to be a good one. This has 2 shields, so I got him down to 2. Let's say I bought just a measly axe, which by the way has a saw blade on it because it's pretty awesome. Yeah. I'm rolling 1 die. I got him down to 2. All I got to do is get 2. I rolled 2. I got him. Awesome. If I had rolled 1, I'd be screwed, except this is where screwdrivers would come in. I could pay 2 screwdrivers to generate another pip. That would get me to 4. So screwdrivers are awesome.
Gotcha.
So I win. I would get 1 victory point, which in our game is a ketchup packet, because flavor is the ultimate commodity in the apocalypse.
You could make anything taste edible with ketchup.
I like to think
enough ketchup.
Yes, your rat sandwiches in the future taste great now. That's why your people are so happy.
My rat sandwiches now taste great with ketchup. So
I bet they do. Time to go? No, just kidding. All right, so I got 1 victory point. I got my scrap for beating the guy, and he goes away. We then would flip over level 2. So the idea is, you know what's coming. We won't fight him until we get to that spot. We got 2 more turns, which means, again, sending our people out, getting our resources, buying stuff. Then we'll fight them 2 turns later.
Gotcha, because that axe is +2 against creatures.
Yes.
So you, or the,
wood is. Yep,
yeah, that.
Exactly.
It's +1.
That's
so you,
a creature.
Gotcha.
Yep. So you're always going to fight a level 1 bad guy, then a level 2 bad guy, then you're going to fight a boss. And the bosses there's 3 of them in the game. They're randomly picked, and they all come up with a power-up. Power-ups are level 1, 2, and 3, and there's a total of 6 of those. We just grab these at random, and you're getting King Colossal. It's a 12-point bad guy. He's worth 4 VP. He's going to take away 1 of your dice, basically. You roll 1 fewer dice, and if you lose to him, it's 6 injuries. That's bad. His power-up is body armor, which makes him a 14-point bad
Good.
guy.
That's
so,
what I was hoping for.
Yeah, because you don't want the game to be too easy. That's the
Yeah.
good part, yeah. Like I said, 3 different bosses. They all have a different effect. All the different power-ups are going to get mishmashed. And we wouldn't fight him till the very end, all 6 rounds kind of thing. So you'd have some time to buy things. But it is going to get scary when it comes at you. There's also a total of 6 of the dread cards, so you're going to get different level 1s, different level 2s every time you play. The Badlands cards, there's like 20 of those, or I'm sorry, there's 9 of those. You're only ever going to go through 6, so you got some replay there. And you probably won't go through all the development cards in your game, so you'll keep seeing more of that kind of thing. There's a lot of replay built in here, and a lot of different strategies for, maybe I'll go heavy on people, maybe I'll go heavy on, lots of weapons and things. You can buy, here we go, extra people if you want. I just mentioned that.
That was my next
explaining.
question.
Yes, you can buy more survivors for rope and cloth. I like to think of it as offering them clothing, and they're like, yes, please, I'll come fight for you. And then if you want, you can train your people to be specialists. So like I had that guy that let me carry 2 resources. You had the looter who got hurt, but still. If I really want your looter guy, I can take one of my people that's healthy, pay the cost to train him, and trade them in to get the new guy. And now I've got a specialist. And there's no limit. You can have as many as you want. At the end of the game, I should back up and say, after we fight the boss, that's when the game ends. You add up all your points then, because every card is worth victory points. You'll get victory points for defeating creatures. And every healthy person you have in front of you, not injured, they have to be healthy, is worth 1 point for, 1 point for regular survivors, 2 points for your specialist. So building your team is good for both playing the game and getting the cool VP points kind of thing.
So if you had just gone to lunch at Chick-fil-A and had an extra ketchup packet left over, would that count for this game?
I'm not how you house rule that. As long as it looks like ours, that's all. If it looks vaguely like ours.
Gotcha. So this actually seems a little bit, not like heavier, but a little bit more complexity with things going on. How would you say this rates in level of your games as far as complexity?
Right. There is definitely a lot to manage. There's no illusions there. But once you play it, you are doing the same thing every turn with all the different strategy involved, so it's very easy to pick up. I would say it's definitely, right now, I would call it our heaviest game. Anyone who plays heavy games will probably laugh at me, but it's still our heaviest game. It's going to involve the most kind of bookkeeping. There's a lot of decision points, a lot of trees you have to run through kind of thing. And there are a lot of fiddly bits, won't deny it. Those fiddly bits are a lot of fun, but there's fiddly bits, so yeah.
Yeah, anytime you have dice rolling, especially speed dice rolling, there are going to be people who are like, oh,
Yeah.
but I think that sounds awesome.
Right.
And honestly, while there is a lot of stuff going on, it seems like it's very much all right, right now, if you're teaching someone who's not a super big gamer, don't worry about that right now. This is what you're doing.
Yep, that's all you got to teach them. The hardest thing when you're learning the game is not just taking what the dice give you, I rolled wood, I'll get wood. It's thinking about what you need to buy. I don't need wood this turn. I need metal, plastic, and rope, so don't get wood kind of thing. Figure out what you need for the ones like that. That takes people a while to think about. And also, that's part of what this is for. The scrap, the way you can pay it to get a wild of anything, that's going to help ease those problems of, oops, I wanted to buy the slingshot, but I forgot that it takes rope, 2 plastic, and cloth. I can spend this because I forgot to get the extra plastic, and I can still buy the card I wanted. So there's lots of ways to ease the bad dice rolls, essentially, so you're not just screwed by that. And if you forgot to plan a little bit, you have some flexibility.
Gotcha. And the resources carry over round to round, or is it after buying you get rid of everything?
No, you can keep up to 4 of them. That's the 4 spaces on your player board. Yeah. And then what happens is all the resources left over. Let's say at the end it kind of looks like this. We've got a few of everything. They sink into the middle of the desert as they get buried in sand, and then you'll refill at the end of your turn. We'll all put back out what we need. So we put out 2 rope, we put out 2 cloth kind of thing. Where's the cloth? There we go. So we'll refill the board. These are still out there. So you actually have a little bit more time to get them before they're gone forever. Then they're out of the game, and the new stuff sinks into the middle, like a conveyor belt sort of deal. So there is this ever ebb and flow of resource kind of things going on. But yeah, overall, keeping an eye on that, matching it with this, rolling dice, pretty good time overall.
Awesome. And so is this game available now?
It is. Remnants came out last week. It is at your local store right now. It is $39.95, and if you're here at Gen Con, I don't know how you would be watching this, but if you were, we have a promo card. Check your local store. They may have the promo card too. We did a launch kit for the game. So
awesome. And just in case you guys don't have access to a local game store, we will have a purchase link down below where you can also pick up a copy. I definitely recommend you do. And hey, while you're down there, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored. You got it. There you go. You remember.
Oh, you're going badgeless.
Yeah, I don't look like an idiot.
What? Hey.